Radio Rahim with the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi in London, England. I can't tell where our home is anymore, except that we are clearly Brooklyn boys today.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
B is for Brooklyn.
Yeah, B is for Berkeley in my case, but I still respect the Brooklyn Dodgers. On tomorrow night here in London at the O2 Arena, a phenomenal fighter steps into the ring against a local guy who's a sensation here in London, man. Even though the odds makers aren't giving him much chance, are you giving Luke Campbell much chance to beat Lomachenko?
To go all the way and beat Lomachenko and actually win the fight is a tough ask. I think Campbell has the ability and the talent to get in the ring with anybody and make a good account of himself, and even give some trouble to Lomachenko and give him some things to think about. But I think ultimately in the end, it's a tough ask to actually go out there and beat Lomachenko. But I expect a good fight.
How big a star can Lomachenko be? I have to admit that even I was surprised at the media workout, how ruckus the local fans here were for him. I mean, they came out and shook the walls. I expect nothing different tomorrow night. But Lomachenko really hasn't crossed over into that like household name outside of boxing heads. Guys don't know him. What is it going to take for him to make that kind of statement?
He's a great boxer, but he's a nice guy too. And sometimes nice guys, they don't have enough of an edge. He doesn't turn down interviews. He stays around for everyone. I noticed during this week, he was actually like a little bit tired, a little bit stressed out of all the demands he had to meet. Sometimes when you leave people wanting a little bit more, it leaves you more desired, it leaves you more talked about. Loma's a nice guy, and I don't think he cares whether he gets to become that level of star or not. He just wants to be the best fighter on the planet, and he believes he is.
To be the best fighter on the planet and that kind of star, don't you have to climb weight divisions? Don't you have to find challenges where maybe there are none? If he stays at 35, or Bob Arum was telling me yesterday that he might go down to 30, even 26, can he ever reach that kind of level of not just success, but adoration in this sport?
See the question you just asked? That is exactly why steroids are such a problem in boxing, because you never saw this kind of weight jump before. That kind of weight jumps people demand, people want to create, people have to see in order to leave you on a certain level. This is exactly why steroids are such a prevalent problem in boxing. Marvin Hagler fought for 8 years at middleweight, defended the title so many times that Mustafa Hamsho became the mandatory contender twice. Yet even the second time he beat him, nobody was giving Hagler problems at a time where boxing was probably more pure. Nowadays, it's just been infested with performance-enhancing drugs. This kind of question is exactly why performance-enhancing drugs has infested like a cesspool. It's infested this sport. I think Lomachenko's done what he has to do. At 140 pounds, he's a lot smaller. If we're going to look at him to match up against athletes who have been infested with performance-enhancing drugs, it's an uphill climb all the time, because you're not going to be able to match what those guys accomplish unless you're going to do the performance-enhancing drugs. So if you're wanting and demanding for Lomachenko to do performance-enhancing drugs, then by all means, we should just be more clear about it. You know what? Lomachenko's will do performance-enhancing drugs and climb up 17 weight classes, and then, yeah, talent-wise, he'll beat everybody because that's how good he is. But in reality, a guy probably reaches his max, especially a small guy, probably reaches his max after a few weight classes, and I think Lomachenko has reached his max in weight.
There's a couple of other fights coming down the pike that are very interesting. We just saw Kovalev score an 11th round knockout against Anthony Yard, another local guy here from England, lining him up for Canelo to jump weight classes like we just talked about. 2 weight classes, in fact. Not just 2 weight classes, but from 60 to 75, which is a huge jump. How do you see that fight going? And does this fall in keeping with what you just said about performance-enhancing drugs?
Yeah, I'd rather not even discuss that kind of stuff. I've discussed it for so many years, and people are look at me like I'm the crazy one. So I don't. You guys want to see that kind of stuff, you'll keep seeing it. You keep not calling it out, you'll keep seeing it. And obviously, everybody's happy with that. So why should I be unhappy about it? I'm not fighting anymore. Like, I'm good. I got a good life. I don't have to complain about trying to clean up a garbage sport that doesn't want to clean itself up. Nor should I care if the fans of the sport don't want to clean it up. So why am I gonna care? So no, I don't want to discuss that fight or discuss the problem or whatever it might be. It'll be an interesting fight between 2 good names, and people will watch.
Well, we're expecting a lot of people to watch, especially on this side of the pond, no question, in December when the big fight goes to Saudi Arabia, of all places, where Anthony Joshua is going to rematch Andy Ruiz. The first one was a stunner by anybody's account. No matter how many people claim they knew it ahead of time, everybody was shocked. This time, people are calling it a 50-50 fight. How are you calling it?
Yeah, I call it probably a 50-50 fight. You know, I think that you'll see a more focused Joshua. Everybody can have their thought on what the problem was in the first fight, and it's all hypotheses at the end of the day because Joshua's not what you might call an excuse maker, but there might be reasons. Sometimes there's reasons. They're not excuses. Whatever it is, Joshua will never tell you because he's a stout pro and he doesn't want to come off like he's making excuses. So it's up to us to just hypothesize. I'm going to hypothesize it this way. I think having seen Joshua get up off the canvas so focused against Vladimir Klitschko, I know mentally he's got a place in his heart and his mind where he's very strong if he wants to be. I think he was that strong on that night because he expected that he might have to go through a couple of road bumps over the course of that fight. And if he went down, he kind of may have expected that and say, you know what, I may have to get up off the canvas against this guy tonight to beat him. And when he did that, it was almost like he never missed a beat, even getting up off the canvas. I think against Andy Ruiz, it was something that he might have taken him a little lightly in that he never expected to have to get up off the canvas against Andy Ruiz. And when you're getting up off the canvas in a fight where you didn't expect to be on the canvas or you didn't expect to be so tough, it's hard to get in that exact moment, find your concentration because that kind of concentration has to be built up going into the fight. So if all of a sudden you have to find it in a span of a moment, it's hard to do it. And it didn't seem like he ever had that concentration on the night. And credit to Andy Ruiz for kind of catching him sleeping, playing the nice guy, making him underestimate him a little bit because Ruiz is nothing to be underestimated about. And I think Joshua learned a painful lesson that night. But I don't think Joshua will underestimate Ruiz this time. Having said that, Ruiz is still a quality fighter. This is not Butterbean. So even if you don't underestimate him, it doesn't mean that it's an easy fight. And I don't think it's an easy fight.
It's interesting you say that because, of course, everyone talks about, what happened with Joshua? What went wrong? How could he change? What was the problem? But very few people talk about, hey, maybe the problem was Andy Ruiz. Maybe the problem is Ruiz is actually that good. Yeah. Is it possible that Ruiz is just better than Joshua?
I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, we're going to get to find out for sure. It's definitely a possible and a reality that Ruiz is a quality fighter. He's a top contender, and there's no doubt about that. Like I said, this is not Butterbean. If he's better than Joshua, I mean, we'll see if he cements that or if Joshua wins. I mean, if Joshua wins, I hope there's a third fight.
And with that said, if Joshua wins, there's a third fight. Let's take that.
This guy's gotta go.
Let's take that down all the way down the road. Does Andy Ruiz compete with the other heavyweights, Wilder, Fury? Can he stay at this elite level?
It's possible, but I want to see Ruiz and Konaki. That's what I want to see. I want to see Ruiz and Konaki.
All right, let me sign off. Radio Rahim with the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi.